Hello, this is Patrick or LB3 with Walk the Mock, and we are here joined by special guest Josh. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Doing great, and of course Grant, my normal co-host, is here as well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Patrick. Welcome, Josh.
How's it going?
Alrighty, so we are kicking off today. We wanted to, for the audience, we wanted to go ahead and go through how to start off a real-time draft with other users, and then we were going to go ahead and do a draft ourselves. So we'll go ahead and kick off with real-time. You want to go back to I'm going to go back to the start because I didn't start talking until I started clicking. But you want to go back, you want to be on the home page, and then you have the button right up here. Click draft. And then you have a lot of options here for what we're doing today right here. We're going to click real-time. That's how you pick with other people live. Then you have a few options here. You can come down here and you have these public rooms. Obviously, right now there's not very many. We haven't even had the combine yet. People are still, getting hyped for mock draft season. But we have a room right here opening up in 2 minutes. It's got 5 people in it, ready to mock. You got a minute to pick. You got all these options here. This one's 7 rounds, fast picks. This tells you how many teams are filled, so 5 teams. And then this has trades. You can just click join. And I'm not going to actually join here. We're just doing a demonstration. You can pick whichever team you want, and then you can just click and join. I'm just going to go ahead and abandon there. And then you can come back up here, and if you want to start your own room, you have 2 options. You have public or you have private. So let's say I want to start a room and let anyone join. I can click here, click private. Public, pick any settings I want, and then open it. And then anyone can join. And then if I wanted to, I could make it private. You can do that here or back on that last button, just if you decide to change your mind. And you can click private, and then you have to invite people, get them, give them a link to let other people join it. So that is what that is, and you can just save and publish, start a live room right then. And the beauty of that is you get to mock draft with other people, which really adds more unpredictability and fun, I would say, to the mock drafts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest aspect of this whole system. I always relate it to before fantasy football, everyone likes to do their mock drafts, and it's exactly like that system that everyone likes to go in and just get with people and try it out.
Right, because you're never going to be able to, any mock draft simulator that you go do, you can make the picks, but they may have some element of randomness, but you're going to get similar stuff every time. It's okay, this player's always here in the 4th round, and I think he's way too good to be here in the 4th round, so I'm just going to pick him every time. This adds an air of unpredictability, an air, like the regular draft. Who would ever guess that Terrell Edmonds would go in the 1st round, or Rashad Penny would go in the 1st round, and there they did. And so this just adds that unpredictability. So there you go. That's the real-time lobby. It's pretty simple. That's also what's great about it, is it's very easy to do, easy to set up, easy to figure out yourself. So yeah, anytime anyone wants to, you can click new public, new private, and we have a lot of options too. You pick your team, you pick your rounds, you pick whether you want trades. Sometimes trades are a little silly. You pick how long you want between picks. If you want to do a long-term thing, you can even do 12 hours, which, just start it now and then it'll finish by the time the draft starts. There we go. So, and you can schedule them out pretty far in advance if you want, Just take it out. We can start one on May 18th after the draft is over. It's beautiful. That'll probably be getting ready for next year's draft. If you want to do one, we'll have some rankings up for that. You draft right after this draft is over.
That's right.
Alrighty. So I think we've gone over pretty much all of the features there. So if you guys want to, do you want to get into a little mock draft ourselves?
Let's do it.
So for this one, we have a lot of options. We have the vanilla draft, but these are all just, you pick a team, you draft for them. This one's with trades. This one's you decide what trades are fair, but we're going to go down here. We're going to do one GM to rule them all, so we just get to make all the picks, because that's what we're going for. Always use default ranking, and let's head on into the draft room. Now, we decided before we started that Grant would go first, then Josh, then me, and we'll just alternate over and over again. So that means that Grant is on the clock. We'll go ahead and start this draft up. Grant, you are on the clock with the Jags.
And I think that a popular pick for the Jags has been Evan Neal at offensive tackle. Try to fortify that offensive line for Trevor Lawrence. But I think I'm going to go with a different offensive tackle this week. I'm gonna go with big Ekwanu out of NC State.
I mean, you know what? It seems like a lot of buzz that Evan Neal might not be the top guy in this draft. Who do you, Josh? You said you're a big offensive lineman guy. Who would you pick if you had the number 1 overall pick for offensive tackle?
Charles Cross is my guy. I don't think you can go wrong with him. I think he's such a good pass blocker. He's more finesse in the run game.
Yeah,
he's
might be
more of a finesse guy.
He is, and sometimes those guys fall a little bit, but sometimes they end up being the best possible.
Yeah, I would have him. So Slater last year, I would have him just under Slater in last year's draft.
Okay.
Was Slater your top guy last year too?
Yeah, he was my top guy.
Okay.
I wasn't a big Penei Sewell guy.
I liked Sewell, but I definitely thought that he needed a little seasoning, a little bit of time to get used to.
He's definitely more raw than Slater.
He was on the ground a little too much for me.
Right. I think he's going to end up being a really good player. He's going to be, top 5 tackle, top 10 tackle, but he just needed a little bit more time. He wasn't going to come in and instantly be dominant like Slater was.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So you're on the clock now, Josh, with the Lions.
I'm on the clock, and I was hoping you wouldn't take my guy, and you didn't. So I want to see Dan Campbell with this guy, Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. I think it's just the perfect fit. Hair on fire kind of guy, and Dan Campbell is as well.
I think everybody in Detroit probably wants that pick, if we're being honest. They just, he seems like the perfect Dan Campbell fit. Hometown kid. Well, he's from Michigan. He plays at Michigan. Going to Detroit, doesn't have to travel very far. Where is Michigan? Is Michigan University?
It's a
of
half
Michigan
hour
in Detroit.
Okay. Detroit.
All right, so he doesn't have to travel very far. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, now we're on to the Texans, and they kind of just need a lot of everything. So this is a pretty tough one. I'm gonna go with. There's been a lot of talk of them trading Tunsil. And even if they don't, they could probably still use some more protection. Give Davis Mills the most help they can get, since it seems like they'll probably be going with him for as their future quarterback. So we're just going to go ahead and take Evan Neal. Pass the Jags, give them a little bit of a big molly up front. Whether if they trade Tunsil, pick's probably a little bit more likely, but as is, probably not quite as. Not as likely, but I can still see him taking them. Just solidify that offensive line. 2 absolute giants to just hold down both bookends.
Yeah, no, I think that Evan Neal, I think that's a good pick, especially with the Tunsil. I mean, off-season rumors there's not always much truth to them, but Tunsil's been a guy that's been traded once already, and you never know with that kind of situation. So with getting a guy with Evan Neal, like Evan Neal at 4, I think is a good deal for the Texans.
Yeah, I don't see any with it either.
I'm sorry, Texans at 3, rather. The Jets here at 4, they're in a situation where you got Kayvon Thibodeau falling to them, and their top need is edge rusher on Walk the Mock here. So I think that's an easy pick for them. You're getting that freak athlete that everyone desires on your edge, and you can build around that.
Yep. What do you think of that one, Josh?
Yeah, I think sky's the limit for him. I think he's more of if you go back in Jets history, he's the kind of guy that they like to take. I'm not as sure on him just yet, but I can see him definitely going top 5.
Yeah, I think that he's got a lot of skills that will translate to the NFL right away. I think he's getting a little bit of prospect fatigue. I think we see it a little bit every year. Get a little bit of, oh man, this guy was so good last year, and then this year not as good. But it's really just like he's still just as good. It's just people might have been a little hyped on him a little too early from watching a couple broadcast tapes games.
Yeah, so I am on the clock, I assume, with the New York Giants.
That's right.
One of my least favorite teams as a Cowboys fan.
Sabotage them.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it. I feel like they need to fix their offensive line if they're going to get anything going. I think you already know where I'm going to go with this. I hate to do it.
I'm scrolling down.
But Charles Cross is my guy, and he'll give Cowboys trouble for years to come.
And yeah, put him across. This is just like the Texans pick if they keep Tunsil. They have Tunsil on one side, get Evan Neal on the other side. Giants have Andrew Thomas took a big step forward this past season on one side, and now they get Charles Cross for the other side, however they want to divvy those up. It's a great combo there on the outside.
Yeah, I would almost want to keep – I was hoping Evan Neal would fall just for that fit, but, yeah, you have to get who I think is the best tackle in this draft.
Alrighty, on to the Panthers. I think both of the last two mock drafts we did, we gave the Panthers a quarterback because they don't really have one right now. But you know what? For the fun of this, let's give them not a quarterback. Let's assume that they have a quarterback. They traded for one, just to kind of like let the quarterbacks fall a little bit. Got to mix it up. Drafting with real people. So I'm gonna give them. I think I'm going to go ahead and give them George Karlaftis there to play on the edge. I think that they could use another edge rusher. I think Karlaftis is the perfect fit for this Panthers team, kind of play across from Brian Burns, really give them that big body on the edge.
Yeah, I think Karlaftis is definitely one of those guys with the like a short-term prospect fatigue we're talking about. I just seen lately in mocks, you got him in the 20s and even the 30s, and I still think that he's like a top 15 player when it's all said and done.
I haven't watched him too much, but from what I understand, he's got a high floor, low ceiling. So you're trying to get a guy in that's going to produce for you right away with little upside to it, but sometimes those work out better than you expect.
Yeah, that's how I would have described Bradley Chubb or Clelin Ferrell, and they both went top 5. Not like super high ceilings, not going to be top 5 guys, but they can come in and produce right away, which is sometimes all a team needs, all team's looking for.
Definitely.
All right, Grant, back to you. Now you're picking for the Giants.
All right, I have the second Giants pick here. Went offensive line with the first one. They could go a few different directions here. I feel like Karlaftis was usually the pick that I would go with the Giants here. I feel like Giants here can go best player available. They're going to go with Kyle Hamilton. I think that Kyle Hamilton is easily a top 3 player in this draft, and that's the kind of guy you build a defense around. He's the center of your field. He's your cog, and Giants would be happy to have him on their defense.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, it's hard to talk too badly about him in the pass game. I think he struggles a little bit coming up and playing the run, but he plays sideline to sideline, and he's scary in the pass game.
Yeah, big, fast, athletic. Overall athletic, and just is really smart too. It's a deadly combo. Yeah. Those kind of safeties can completely change the defense because you just put him over top, and he can help both sides of the field, which makes it tough for downfield passing attacks to succeed and lets the defense keep another guy in the box.
Yeah, and his closing speed is ridiculous. Whether it's running to someone on a route or just closing in on them in the run game. I don't like the angles he takes in the run game, but his closing speed is next level. That's what separates him in my eyes. So, yeah, I think I got the Atlanta Falcons here. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Hamilton would have been nice for them. I know a lot of Atlanta fans want to do like that 3 safety set that they did on defense before, but I'm going to go a little differently. I think this wide receiver class, people are going to want to jump on. I think it's so deep that it's a little too early for them. Maybe a trade out would be a possibility if that's what they're looking at. But I want to go with my top corner in this draft. Stingley's fun and everything. He's a little too injured. I always say, and everyone basically says, the best ability is availability. He hasn't been available too much in his career. So I want to go Andrew Booth here. I love the way he plays. I think it'd be a great fit for them.
Well, yeah, I love Stingley. I think that he's a really fluid. I think that he has all the natural talent, but he's just not. He hasn't quite put it all together yet. He's just not very physical, but he's really fluid. Really, he can run well, but he's not quite there for me yet. I think that he's going to really struggle, kind of like I'm trying to think of who the player is. There's someone who I was thinking of, kind of like Marcus Peters. Kind of reminds me of Marcus Peters, but maybe not quite as much of a gambler, but kind of similar in terms of how they'll struggle a little with physicality. They're not going to be super consistent, but that's who he really reminds me of sometimes.
Definitely.
All right, on to the Broncos. For this one, they just took cornerback top 10 last year. I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they're pretty set at wide receiver. I think we gave him this player in another mock recently, but it's just such a good fit. I can't pass it off. I think David Ojabo is just a flawless fit with the Broncos. There's a lot going on. Talk of Bradley Chubb being included in a trade package for a quarterback. Regardless, they just got rid of Von Miller. They need some pass rush on the outside. Ojabo is that athletic guy that's still left that can really get after the quarterback. I think he's a perfect fit for this Broncos team. I always think about going somewhere else for them, but it just seems perfect for the guys that'll be there at their 9th pick there.
Yeah, he's definitely a high upside guy. All the talent in the world. He just has to put it all together on film, and he could be something special at the next level, especially with the defense they have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that fit. That's one of my favorite fits so far in this process has been Ojabo to Denver there. So I'm picking for the Jets again, I see.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'm a Jets fan today. So we went Kayvon Thibodeau there. That was high-value pick.
Another high-value pick here. A couple of them you could go with.
Yeah. There's been lots of – I've seen some mocks lately that have had Jets taking wide receiver at 10, possibly Wilson or Treylon Burks. But here I think I'm going to go with a different pick. There's been a bit of a run on offensive tackles, so I'm going to get another big man for Zach Wilson. And I'm going to go with Trevor Penning here.
Wow, Penning going for Linderbaum. I don't know how I feel about that one.
No.
I don't hate it.
That's a big man. This is going to be the year of big men.
Here's the thing. At the Senior Bowl, we studied the offensive linemen vigorously. Like, we were front row offensive linemen, and Penning's shoulders are as wide as Falele's. And we all know Falele is a big dude.
Yeah.
So that was really impressive watching them.
And you're trying to if they want Zach Wilson to succeed, they need to transport him back to BYU, which means they need to get an offensive line that can give him like 10 seconds before he has to throw it. Right. So Penning's perfect fit for that.
That might be one of my favorite offensive lines. They got my guy last year, AVT. And they're building a special offensive line.
Becton.
We'll see what happens with Becton. It seems like there might be a little discontent. There's something going on there. It's just too much smoke for there not to be some fire with that relationship.
So, with the Washington Commanders, again, another hated team, but I'm going to do them right. I think my guy at Diamond State Scouting, we have a Malik Willis watch that we do every week. And while he's my guy, I don't think he will be the top offensive or quarterback off the board. I think we're going to be looking at, let me pull him up here real quick, Matt Corral. I think he will be the top quarterback off the board just for the fact everyone I talked to at the Senior Bowl seemed to be higher on him. He seemed to be the one that won out of all the quarterbacks just for the fact he wasn't there. And he's the one with if I have the ball 2 minutes left and I need to make a play, he's the guy out of this class that you want to have the ball in his hand. So Matt Corral is going to be my guy.
I'm not a big fan of Corral, if I'm being honest. Probably wouldn't have him in my top 5 quarterbacks in this class. So, I'm not. But,
I'm curious. What would be your top 5?
You know who I do have in my top 5? So I got Bailey Zapp in my top 5. I'm a big fan of Zapp. Honestly, probably the top 5 here. Well, let's see. I'd probably go. He'd probably barely squeak in my top 5 because I don't like Carson Strong at all. And then it's a huge drop off after that. So he'd be 5. It'd be probably. No, he wouldn't be my top 5 because it'd be Zapp, Ritter, Pickett, Howell, and Willis. That's top 5. Corral just barely misses up. He's at 6. And then
we are very different when it comes to quarterback.
Carson Strong gets to 7.
That's a good thing because this class is crazy when it comes to quarterbacks, and everyone's going to be different this year.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm feeling like it's Willis and the rest. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah,
I think
been
Willis
a Willis
is the
guy.
top guy.
His tape this year is awful, but at the same time, he
Just
has no one
projection,
that's going to play
you know?
on Sunday on his team. And
Right.
I don't know. I'm a big Willis guy. I love, he's the best player to throw off platform in this draft. But Corral is, like I said, the guy that you want the ball in the hands with 2 minutes left. And that's going to speak a lot of volume to teams.
You can talk. The thing is, we could talk about these quarterbacks back and forth all day long. Like my
Yep.
top guy, Bailey Zapp. Your top guy, Willis. Grant's top guy, Willis. But you know what? It's 90% of what's going to happen with these quarterbacks is where they land. You take Mac Jones off the Patriots last year, he's probably terrible. So it's rough. Some of these quarterbacks will succeed no matter where they go, but 90% of quarterbacks very situation dependent. So trying to predict how good they're going to be before we even know where they end up it's impossible to do.
For sure.
But it's always fun to talk about what we think they do well. Zapp's my favorite guy. I don't think he's going to go in the first round just because I don't think that he does what the NFL loves to see done generally.
You said he's your top guy?
Yeah, he's probably my top quarterback. I've kind of flipped between him and Hal, but I think Zapp's probably my top guy.
Yeah, he reminds me of a poor man's. Trying to think, the Arizona quarterback. Can't think of his name right now.
Kyler Murray?
Yeah, he's kind of like a poor man's Kyler Murray. Not the speed or anything, but the way
not the speed.
he kind of plays. Obviously,
I
not
like
speed, but...
Right.
He's a short guy.
Yeah, short guy. He's got a little wiggle to his game. He likes to. I always said he's kind of like a point guard out there.
Right.
Oh,
he's a
no
lot like
doubt.
a point guard. He really delivered those Western Kentucky
Vibes.
weapons.
Yeah.
He only had 1 year in real, true like FBS. So it'll be interesting to see how he transitions. Even if he seems more like a traditional pocket passer, might take a little more time than someone who's used to playing against top competition like some of the other top guys. Oh, it's impossible to quarterbacks. I don't think you could take the best quarterback evaluator in the world, and they're probably going to be wrong more than half the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true.
All right, moving on. All right, we spent a while on that one. Let's move on to the Vikings here. Man, I think that they couldn't pass up Derek Stingley falling to them here at 12. I think they see that and they run it in. I don't even remember who they have at cornerback right now, but I don't think they could pass up Derek Stingley falling out of the top 10 to them right there.
I mean, yeah, I think Stingley will be the big question mark. I mean, he's definitely been falling down boards after being a consensus top 5 pick over the for first segment of the season. Yeah, I could see it though. They got Patrick Peterson over there. They got Cam Dantzler, and that's pretty much it. Peterson's definitely aging, and
Dantzler's never been that great.
Yeah, I think the Vikings would be excited for this pick.
Yeah.
He's smooth. He's super smooth. And his just how he plays is just so smooth. It's just how many games are we going to get out of him? That's the issue.
Right. That's one of the big issues there. All right, on to the Browns. And I think this is their dream scenario. Just look at this.
It's got to be. Look at this. They have to go receiver here. And we're going to go with, losing OBJ and, trading him losing him, releasing him, getting him to the Rams. They got to go receiver here. And we're going to go with a new wide receiver 1 in our drafts, I believe. We're going to go with Chris Olave with this pick. And I think he's a good fit. I think that he is similar to... He's a very good route runner. I think that he will land. He'll complement Landry while they're there. He'll be a good replacement for when he moves on. Let me just say.
He kind of reminds me of Keenan Allen a bit. Is who I would comp him to.
No doubt. He's that. Keenan Allen's my comp for Olave.
He's really smooth. He's just like Stingley, except he's a lot bigger. But he's really smooth. He's so fluid in his movement that he could like turn and you can't even tell just because it just seems like he's just gliding.
Yeah, I think he's a good compliment to what they already have at their receiving core.
Yeah, and they just need to give Baker something so that way we can figure out if he's worth it or not.
He's not.
Probably not, but we'll see. They're not replacing him in this draft at least.
Definitely, and I am glad I got the Ravens pick because I'm kind of this year taking on the Ravens. I'm in a lot of Raven spaces on Twitter, so this is my pick here, and I'm constantly telling them the best pick for them is going to be Nakobe Dean. I think you get a leader of the defense. You get someone sideline to sideline, and you get someone that's going to be able to push Queen over and help Queen develop as a player as well.
I do like that pick, but my one concern would be with that is how much weight they have at that second level now, because both those guys are real small. They're a big bully ball team. They're a big running team. They're generally a big defensive line, really shut guys down on the run. And I don't know if they would want two such small guys there patrolling the second level. But
it's the way the NFL is moving, though. The NFL is a passing league. You want people at your second level that can stop the pass, and they have two guys that can do that effectively. Nakobe Dean, I don't think gave up a touchdown his entire year at Georgia. So,
Queen is not too good against the pass yet, but he has all the skills to be good against the pass.
He does, and I think Dean will help him with that because I think he's playing out of position, and having him slide over will help him a lot.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot as well. Nakobe Dean is, I think that just value alone at 14, I think that he's a top 10 player when it's all said and done. So that's a good pick for them.
The thing that defense has been missing has been that leader like Ray Lewis. I mean, obviously we're going to say Ray Lewis. He's not the player Ray Lewis is, but he can bring that leadership that Ray Lewis has, because I don't know if you guys witnessed, I'm a Georgia fan, witnessed the Georgia defense, and they all came back to saying Nakobe Dean is the guy that they play for and love to play for.
Mm-hmm. It says a lot. It speaks volumes when you have your entire team saying stuff like that.
I love Nakobe Dean. I think he's a great player. Him and Devin Lloyd are both two really good linebackers, and then after you get out of those two, it's an interesting class. I think it's a little bit of a drop off after. It's a pretty clear drop off after those two. So it'll be interesting to see how high they go overall. And moving on, we'll move on here to the Eagles. They're a team that just made the playoffs, but I would still say are missing quite a lot. But I think where I'm going to go with this one is did Brandon Brooks just recently retire over the offseason here? Either way, I think I'm going to go with Tyler Linderbaum. They're a team that did a lot of running this past season, and they're probably going to continue to do that as long as Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. And now they get a guy who can come in instantly, just be like a day one starter for that interior offensive line, just kind of that Jason Kelce effect.
A super smart player. I think a lot of people undervalue the center position, and I think he fills in perfectly there. Jason Kelce, you don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he retired again or not, but yeah, it's be a perfect spot. Get your left tackle figured out, get your center tackle or center position figured out, and I think you're good to go from there.
Yeah, I think it's another high value pick here again. Getting Linderbaum at 15 is
for sure
great pick. But that leads me to the next Eagles pick here, and I don't feel comfortable. I wanted to go receiver here, but I don't feel comfortable addressing two offensive needs in a row here, not addressing that defense.
But look who's taking the next two picks there. You're not going to get your choice of receiver after those two.
That's the scary thing. That's what they're going to have to deal with.
Right.
But in this scenario, I don't think that they can pass up Devin Lloyd. I think that with Dean off the board, like you said, it's those two, and then it's a big drop off. If they can get if they can get an athletic linebacker to bolster the front seven, I mean, they got to do it. They're gonna go best player available with most of these picks, just because they're high value and they should be contributors in year one. So
right. Yeah. Did Lloyd, like we were literally just talking about, he's a great player. I think him going here is not crazy, and he's someone who can. So we took the guy who's the leader of that offensive line. We took the guy who's generally considered like the leader of the defense. They're just kind of getting their new leaders of both sides of the ball, and that's something that is probably really good for them because it kind of gives them an identity.
Yeah, Lloyd is getting older. Yeah, I think Lloyd is someone, he makes a lot of big splash plays. He's very good at blitzing. He makes big plays in the pass game. I want to see him get better with his vision a little bit, but yeah, you watch him and he explodes off the tape with his speed and everything. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So with the LA Chargers, they're definitely going to have to get a receiver. I feel like, especially with this group that's on the board. And,
yeah, a lot of it will depend on Mike Williams too, but
yeah.
But even if they get him back, they got an aging Keenan Allen, and then not a lot after those two.
Yeah, and they got salary cap issues, so maybe you won't see him come back.
That's true.
So I would like to see them stay with the big receivers because that's what they do over there in LA. But Traylon Burks would be a really good fit for them.
Yeah, and I think he offers what they didn't have with Mike Williams, someone who can really get down the field. Because Mike Williams is a great possession guy, but he didn't really scare corners.
This guy's got a big body and he can go deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ran like low 4.4s, high 4.3s. He can really move, and he's not like Metcalf. He's not, because saw Metcalf and you're like, all right, Metcalf, just don't do the agility drills. You're going to do awful. Right. But Burks he's got wiggle to him. He's got good hips. He can turn side to side. I think he's got pretty much everything you look for in terms of body style and size. He's a super intriguing prospect.
He's going to be fun at the next level.
Mm-hmm. All right, on to the Saints. I think they kind of got to take a wide receiver too, and I think Garrett Wilson falling as far has them once again. I said the same thing for the Vikings. I think they are also sprinting to the podium for Garrett Wilson all the way down at 18. I mean, they have salary cap issues, but Michael Thomas issues. So I think they are ecstatic to get him at pick 18.
So back here to the Eagles pick again, and two of the guys the Eagles are targeting are gone in Traylon Burks and Garrett Wilson. You got Jamison Williams sitting there. He's I definitely like him here at this pick, but I feel like he wouldn't complement Devontae Smith.
James. What are you talking about? Devontae Smith had Jalen Waddle. Jamison Williams basically the new Jalen Waddle. We just rebuilt Alabama.
Right. But I'm gonna have him go a different direction at wide receiver. I'm gonna have him take Drake London right here. Big, strong receiver. Doesn't shy away from high pointing the ball. I think he's a good complement to Devontae Smith there. It gives Jalen Hurts a big target to throw to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't love.
They need receivers.
They do need receivers. I don't love London as a first round guy, but I think that he's a good complement to Smith. He really offers like pretty much the exact opposite of what Smith does. So it's get two different kind of guys there for the quarterback.
So with the Steelers, I think we all know they're very interested in Malik Willis. I would like to say they figured out the quarterback position by now, but I don't think they will have. So I will say they're going to take Malik Willis. If they didn't, I would say like you couldn't steal on a Ahmad Gardner here, Sauce Gardner. I think he's value right now, but you got to get your quarterback.
Right. This is what's going to really drive how the draft goes. Is this quarterback group and where they end up going, because I could see a situation where Willis ends up going in the top 5, top 10 pretty comfortably, or I could see a situation where he falls down here all the way down to 20. It really could go in a direction. I think that if he starts getting towards 10, 11, 12, we might see the Steelers start eyeing move up there. But we're not doing any trades this mock, but
I think if there was a trade,
10.
I think they're trying to get top 10 for him.
That's the real sweet spot right there, is that Jets pick ahead of the Commanders, because they're really looking for a quarterback. And if they're afraid that they're going to take their quarterback, then that might be the spot to move up, especially since the Jets already had a top 10 picks. They could, move back and kind of add a lot more talent.
Or maybe that 5 spot too, just for the fact that you don't know what Carolina's going to do.
That's true too.
Right.
That's a big move up for someone like the Steelers, but heck, you could see someone like Washington move up to 5. All right, on to the Patriots. We always see the Patriots get a value, and we got a few guys here that I really like the value of in Leo, Gardner, and Williams. But they did just lose Stephon Gilmore. Where did he end up? Where is he now? I can't remember.
Carolina.
I think Carolina.
Carolina. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and replace him with Sauce Gardner. Great value, great player. I think he can instantly come in, really complement that defense. Bill loves having a great defense, and it's not surprising. It was between him and Leal for me. But I went with Gardner. Just edged him out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the right pick because Bill loves his secondary. He always like to spend money on them, and I think it sucks that they get a good player again.
They always do. All right, on to you, Grant.
With the Raiders, and another one of my favorite fits here is Jamison Williams to the Raiders. I think that he replaces what they lost in Ruggs with their, wasted first-round pick, I guess you should say. I think Jamison Williams, they gotta, if they're gonna keep running it with Carr, they gotta keep giving him weapons. Brian Edwards hasn't really proven to be anything, and Jamison Williams here is a good pick, good value. So
they're getting him at 22, and I think he's a better prospect than Ruggs was. Honestly, he's probably a wide receiver 1 or 2 in this class. He's just a really good player. Some people see him as all speed, and I think those people just haven't watched him enough. He's a fantastic wide receiver.
I haven't really watched him too much. I remember him getting hurt while he played Georgia, but I know he's a dynamic player, and he can explode anytime on the field. But I have
the Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals. A guy I really love that a lot of people aren't big on. He's not going to tackle. He's just a big playmaker. And Kyer Elam is one of my favorite cornerbacks in this draft, just for the fact that he's going to cover. He's very sticky. A lot of people get hung up on his ability or non-ability to want to tackle, but he's a playmaker, and Arizona loves their playmakers, and he'd be special back there with Budda Baker.
Yeah, I think he's really physical. He's really strong. He's got the size you're looking for in the right NFL. I think he can run. I think he's a really good player. I like him a lot. He's probably my third corner. I think we had him going third as a cornerback, but no, we had him fourth. I forgot about Booth. I always forget about Booth. I feel like Booth could be in every draft. But yeah, it's a good top 4 corners here. I like all of them. And then, it's a good cornerback class in general. We've still got a lot of good names left on this list. All right. Anyway, it's on to me with the Cowboys. I believe Josh is a Cowboys fan. So
I am.
I assume that, really. I'm really looking at these 2 names here. You got Leal, real great value. Could help him out a lot on the interior. Or you got Kenyon Green, can also help him out a lot on the interior. They're going to lose Connor Williams. And, I could really see him going with Green here. But I ain't going to go with Leal. And you might really hate this. But
no,
I think
I don't hate that at all.
I love it. I love it, because they have some guys on the outside there. They get this guy who can play outside on rundowns. If they have someone on the outside who can't really stick, be strong, anchor. And then they can kick Leal in on passing downs and really get after the quarterback. And that'd be just huge for that defense.
Yeah, I think Leal is, like you said, you can move him around. He's kind of like a chess piece for your defensive line. I like him better as like a 3 technique, but Dallas likes to play with a lot of rotation. So there's always going to be a spot for him no matter where you have him. And Leal is probably a top 10 player in this draft. He's special.
And that's the way it goes. Every year we see guys like that falling when they probably shouldn't. And, some teams are always going to jump on it. And this time it just happened to be the Cowboys.
I'll take it.
All right, on to the Bills.
So we got the Bills here.
Where are you going?
The team is obviously built around the success of Josh Allen. I think it would be best to keep him on his feet as much as possible. I think Kenyon Green is a really high value pick here. It'll help with their run game if they want to keep running Singletary and Moss. I would eventually want them to upgrade from that, but I think addressing the offensive line would be a good option for the Bills.
They can get someone Ekwanu really helps them just keep Josh on his feet. They don't really love going to the run game, but it kind of helped them a little bit more when they wanted to keep it get a little more consistent. And I think they could. They have some good wide receivers. I can still add some more because they're not great, but the guys left on the board aren't anyone who really inspires me. In terms of playing wide receiver, David Bell's just a solid guy. I don't like Jahan Dotson that much. George Pickens is a really interesting guy. Really don't know what's going to happen with him just because he's such a huge question mark.
He potentially could have been the top receiver in this draft if he played a full season.
No doubt. Yeah, he was at the beginning of the season. He was our number one guy up there.
Yeah, he's really good. But as I always said, he has on the field issues where he'll do some stuff to get kicked off the field and be out of the game. So that's something he's got to settle down. But he makes some really tough NFL catches at the college level. Mm-hmm. So, but Kenyon Green, he played basically anywhere on the offensive line. Probably move in the guard, but great player.
Mm-hmm. All right, on to the Titans with you, Josh.
Yeah, so Tennessee Titans. I would love to give them a new quarterback, but I don't think that's going to happen. They have too much money wrapped up in that.
Well, also, who are you drafting in this draft? Who's going to be better than Ryan Tannehill?
That's true. So I want to go and get them between. I want to say Trayvon Walker and Jermaine Johnson for an edge player. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to go Jermaine Johnson just because his ability to stop the run as well. And he's got, I think, a higher ceiling and probably better for the edge, in my opinion.
He's a good player. He's a really good player. And who knows what's going to happen. They got Bud Dupree, who's and they have Harold Landry.
Just got in trouble.
Agent. Right. That too. I forgot about that. Good point. And Harold Landry is a free agent. Who knows what's going to go on with the Titans there on the edge. It's not a good situation. They have Simmons, so they really just need to get someone on the edge, and then that is a terrifying pass rush.
Yeah.
All right. I got the Bucs here. This is such a big question mark. They have Tom Brady, as far as we know, still retiring. We don't know where they're going to go from here. I really doubt who's the guy from Florida that's there. Trask. I really doubt that Trask is starting week 1 next year.
That's my guy.
I do not like Trask as a prospect at all. But I don't think he's starting. They might sign a free agent. They might trade for someone. But as of right now, there's no way to know. There's no way to know where they're going to go because there's so many needs. They kept tight ends who could walk. Howard and Gronk could both. Is Gronk still under contract? No, Gronk's a free agent. Howard's a free agent. Chris Godwin's a free agent. I don't know where they're going to go. It's tough. It really is. I think I'm going to go with tight end for them in this situation. I get rid of running back. There we go, tight end. And I'm going to go with Trey McBride. I think he's a really good player. Give him a weapon, kind of, just BPA. In this scenario, they figured out quarterback in the offseason, or else I was taking Zap for him. But in this situation, hypothetical, they have figured out quarterback. Because obviously, if they don't, that's a real possibility for that pick.
Yeah, I think Trey McBride, he was at the Senior Bowl as well. He's basically your all-around tight end, real good pass catcher, soft hands. If I remember correctly, he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. I might be thinking of someone else. Am I thinking about the Texas A&M tight end?
Yeah, I think that was Wiedemeyer.
Yeah. But no, he has soft hands, really good. He wouldn't be my personal top tight end. I like Likely a little more just because he has that next level speed, and I love the way he can be put in motion and can kind of be that H-back, lead back kind of guy. But Trey McBride, you can't hate on him.
No, he's just that solid player that, sometimes teams need at tight end. Might be a little bit of a reach for a first-round pick, but honestly, that team is in such a wild flux right now. Trying to figure out where they're going to go is nearly impossible. I don't think any other team's harder to mock for than the Bucs right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, we're on to you, Grant, with the Packers at pick 28. Another team's kind of hard to mock for. Guys. No idea where these guys are going to go. Just really depends on what Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of mocks lately have him with receivers to try to attempt him to keep him around. I feel
It
like
doesn't
they
make
need
any
to.
sense. By the draft, they're going to know if he's sticking around or not, regardless.
They should.
I think he's there.
I think I'm gonna go edge rusher here, though. I'm gonna
All
go Arnold Ebiketti out of Penn State. I think he's another guy that's just super athletic, relatively new to the game, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, I think he's from somewhere else. Where is he from?
I'm not
I
sure.
think he came to the U.S. in like high school or something.
Okay.
Does it me or does Penn State not use their players to their capacity, and it's so hard to evaluate them?
It seems like it sometimes.
Yeah, like what are they doing with their team that the players come to the next level and they just go crazy, and then who's the guy that went to the Ravens? Can't think of his name right now. That didn't get a sack with Penn State and then came out and did really well. First round pick for the Ravens.
He changed his name too. I remember.
Oh yeah,
like Odette Awafe.
Oh yeah, Ofetti or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, he not a sack with the team the whole year, and then he comes back with the Ravens and gets 8 sacks.
Yeah, Odafe Owe.
In position to succeed.
Oh gosh, this is why I need to pronounce. I need someone in my ear tell me how to pronounce. Yeah, Odafe Owe.
Yeah, Odafe Owe.
I need a pronunciation expert in my ear. Yeah, he went by a different name before
Jason, right?
The draft. Yeah, like Jason Owe, and he changed. He's like, no, he went back to what his proper name should be. So
I appreciate
all respect
that
to that. Yeah, I mean, I might have a hard time pronouncing it sometimes. I try my best, but I love that. I love when players are able to go out and say that and do what they need to do.
Yeah, I remember when Cowboys drafted Cheeto Awuzie, and he came on the Cowboys media, and he's like, "That's not how you say my name. Like, it's Cheeto Bay," and it was fun because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we got Cheeto, we got Taco and Cheeto," and he's like, "Nope, I'm Cheeto Bay."
Yeah, he's with the Bengals on. He took a step forward after he left the Cowboys.
He did, for sure. And I have the Miami Dolphins, who my co-host Brett is a huge Dolphins fan. My wife is a huge Dolphins fan. And they need to fix the offensive line if they're going to figure out that they don't need Tua anymore. So
I like the Browns.
Tua's just staying in. I hate to say it. I know Dolphins Twitter might come after me, or Dolphins in general. But one of the best players in this draft is Zion Johnson. He's just stout. He was the top player at the Senior Bowl, and I'm going to go Zion here.
Yeah, that's what they do. They really need to address that offensive line. They have, I don't know who their best offensive lineman is, but it's not a good situation. So we'll really see where they go and what they can do from here.
I like that. I like that pick for Miami. I think they could definitely go interior or offensive tackle with that pick for sure.
Yeah, they really need to just protect Tua so they figure out if he's actually worth keeping. Just like Baker,
right.
Give him a chance. They got Jalen Walt. They could also add they really need another wide receiver too.
And a quarterback.
So we'll see what they can do. I figured out. Ebiketti is from Cameroon, is where he's from. And then he went to high school in Maryland, and then he was at Temple for 4 years, going to Penn State. So he must be an old prospect. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Anyways, on to the Chiefs. Interesting team. They really could use another wide receiver to complement Tyreek Hill. And Travis Kelce's getting up there, so they really could use another wide receiver. You know what? I think that they're going to go with the troubled guy. They've never really shied away from it. So I think that I'm going to go with the troubled Mr. Pickens here. They're looking for upside. They're looking for talent. And, you might say they already got a troubled, talented guy, a wide receiver. Why take another? But that might be exactly what they do. They've never really shied away from taking those guys with pass.
Yeah, I like Pickens as a late guy, a late first-round guy for sure. I think
I do as well.
Yeah, like Josh was saying, he just it looks on film, he's making NFL catches. Like, he's strong with his hands. He's knows how to run routes.
The one catch he had against Alabama in the SEC championship game was just strong hands, got in front of the guy, and it was a tough catch. I think the defender got his hands on the ball, and he just pulled it in. It was an NFL catch, and it was the one play I think he had in the SEC championship game. But he's a threat no matter where he's on the field. He can go deep.
Mm-hmm.
He can go across the field. He's a full-on receiver that can run all the route tree.
Right. Really finally give the Chiefs that they've drafted so many guys, they can finally have that Tyreek Hill compliment that they've been looking for ever since they got Tyreek Hill.
Potentially replace a Georgia guy with a Georgia guy.
Mm-hmm. All right. On to you, Grant.
Here with your Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, here, wait. Let me just pull up the list you can choose from.
Yeah,
okay,
I had a couple guys in mind for this pick.
All right, let's see who you got.
Let's bring up the offensive tackles real quick.
All right, let's see offensive tackles.
I think we're gonna make this let's go with Bernard Reiman here. I think that's another offensive tackle that can squeak in the first round, especially with Cincinnati. Is like, half the fan base is upset they didn't take a tackle last year, but
yeah, I'd say their bigger need is interior offensive line. But after those top two guys, there's more offensive tackles than interior guys. Even though that's their bigger need, they may end up having to go with, and once again, well, who do they have in free agency? They're definitely going to add some guys, but we don't know who yet, so trying to guess it is impossible. They really just need anything to be there on the offensive line. They can just get one of those dummies that defensive ends run around, and that might be better.
Yeah, I like him. I remember the first time watching him, like, wow, this guy's pretty good. He's a little raw, but the talent's there. And then I did a little research on him, and he's another foreign exchange guy. Came in tight end, or I think he was receiver. Then he went to tight end, and then 2 years at tackle. And the sky's the limit for this guy. He could end up the best player as far as offensive lineman in this draft, even better than Charles Cross if his trajectory keeps going up.
All right, we're on to you ready to finish off here, Josh, with Grant's favorite team, the Lions.
Okay. So you liked my Aiden Hutchinson pick earlier. I didn't know you were a Lions fan.
I mean, that's the pick right there.
So I'm struggling with this one.
It's tough.
I want to give you I really want to give you Trent McDuffie here. I think he's a good value pick there. Now all the pressure's on me.
That's how the last pick goes.
But then I also know you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You need a receiver. Oh boy, here we go.
The thing with the Lions is that they have so many needs, you couldn't make a wrong pick.
I know.
No offense, Grant.
It's true.
No,
that's true. I'm going to go. Do you know what? I can't do that.
You can do whatever you choose.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Trent McDuffie here. I think cornerback is a need as well. And you get one that can start for you. And it's a passing league, so everyone needs a cornerback, and they're highly valued. And as far as the receiver goes, this draft is stacked at receiver, so you can find one later.
They have a pick after the Jaguars pick one more time, and the Jaguars might take a wide receiver, but they got lots of options.
They got a few guys.
They take David Bell, you take John Mechie, you're good to go.
They stole Amon-Ra St. Brown last year, late in the draft, so I think maybe find another one there. Like I said, this draft unbelievably stacked at receiver.
Right, they just need to find they need an outside guy. I definitely would avoid since Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I would avoid like Dotson. Honestly, I'd put David Bell more in the slot than anything, so I'd probably avoid him too. But there's a lot of options. I'm really curious what Alec Pierce runs. I've heard he's fast. I did not see that necessarily in the film, but I heard that a little bit.
He's not fast.
I heard that he might test faster than people expect. I don't know.
His chain. I'm a big Alec. I liked what I saw. He has soft hands. You watch him run, and you're like, "Ooh, he runs a little bit like T.O. does." And then because he's got those long arms, but then no, his change of direction is awful. He dropped a lot of passes at Senior Bowl practice. It just wasn't there for me. Calvin Austin He was
Oh,
the
yeah,
guy
he's-
that like Reggie
He's
Robertson.
probably someone we need to move up a bit, honestly. And then we also have the guy from North Dakota State, right? What's his name?
Watson.
Christian Watson. Yeah, we need to bump him up.
He
a bit.
needs to be bumped up a bit too.
I haven't watched. We didn't. I've watched. We have not. I've not moved him after I watched him. I think that's when we need to move up. We hadn't gotten to him yet. He's up down here in the 200s, but yeah, he definitely is gonna get moved up here at some point.
So you got Ontario Drummond as well, who I think he's a chess piece at the receiver position. He plays some out of the backfield. There's going to be a lot of people that fall in love with him just for the fact of what you got going on in San Francisco and how they use their receiver. So, I
mean, it's a lot of these wide receivers. Wide receiver is one of those positions that definitely has more eyes on the combine than other ones. So we always see a lot more wide receiver movement than most other positions after the combine. And I mean, just finally, guys run too slow. I would just knock them out of the top 100, just as is. Just so they're too slow, out of the top 100. But it has to be they have to be pretty slow for that kind of a movement. But still, some guys, they're faster than we think, they're slower than we think. It's worth noting. And wide receiver is one of the more important positions. Wide receiver and cornerback are the two most, I think, positions that I'm most interested in the combine for.
Oh yeah. And they're the most fun to watch because you get to see the athleticism of them all, and they run fast.
You get the gauntlet, which is always fun.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The one guy I'm looking at down here is Braylon Sanders.
I'm a big fan of Braylon Sanders as well. We have him a bit down the list, but
250.
People aren't talking about him, I feel like.
No, he's fun to watch.
It's a deep wide receiver class.
It really is.
There's going to be guys that are drafted in the 5th, 6th round that are going to be starters year one, for sure.
The guy that's going to be the combine darling is going to be Bo Melton. He's going to run fast. He's going to look good in all the drills. And he's got very small hands. He's going to get talked about with that, but he also has drop issues. So,
every year, Rashad Perryman went in the first round basically off of one run. So, so combine can really move guys. Rashad Perryman runs 4.4 and he's probably undrafted, but he ran like 4.25 or something. He went in the first round. So you never know. It's gonna be really interesting. Combine's coming up. They changed those rules so that way they can actually do all the drills, which is good.
That's if they don't hold out from the combine.
Well, no, because they dropped the bubble today, so they're probably good.
I didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, they dropped the bubble. They said that they were dropping the bubble. They weren't keeping the bubble rules, so that should mean that everyone's participating, which is good because I don't want to have to try and. It's nice when it's all just like 1 or 2 days. I don't have to be like, all right, well, the Clemson Pro Days coming up in 3 days, and the Georgia Pro Days in 4 days, and I hate doing that. I hate when a player that I like is doing only the Pro Days, and I have to try and keep track of when all these Pro Days are.
So I see on the right here that we have comments, and I see one that caught my eye because I'm an offensive line guy, and it's thoughts on crossover Ekwanu, and he has Neal as his offensive tackle number 1. I'm curious about your guys' opinion on that, and then I can kind of give you mine as well.
Like I said, I think I said this before we were on the air. Offensive line is probably one of my weaker positions in terms of like I still watch them every year. I'm trying to get better. I try and learn from people who are real experts on the position. But it's probably my weakest position. But right now, I'd probably have Evan Neal as my top guy, and then probably Ekwanu and then Cross. But I don't know. You could probably talk me into any of them. I do like Cross. He's so smooth. He's definitely a great pass protector. But I really liked Andre Dillard, and I felt the same way about him. And then he's just been a complete bust. So that really hurt my feelings on that one. So kind of scares me off Cross a little bit more. I know it's not a perfect comparison, but I'm going Neal, then Ekwanu, and then Cross right now.
Yeah, Ekwanu, Neal are definitely my 1A, 1B. I think that they're both just big bulldozers with bursting with athletic potential. I think they're the highest ceiling offensive tackles in this draft. I love Charles Cross though. He's number 3 for me, no doubt. I think that we have him down there at 20. I think that's probably a little lower than I would have him, but I definitely like him as a prospect.
Yeah, so I'm gonna change it all up on you guys. Cross is my number 1. Like I said, he would be just under Slater if it was last year's draft for me. Then I have Ekwanu. I want to see what he does at the combine because I'm not sure he's a tackle yet. I think he could be an all-pro guard for sure. I just want to see how his pass set is and if he can get to the edge and get to his point to stop the speed rushers. Because on film, he doesn't do it a lot. He does a lot of hop sets. And I just want to see if he can do it because when he does, he got beat a couple times. And then I'd probably have Neal number 3. I think he's going to be a future right tackle. I don't think he can play left tackle.
I mean, hey, right tackle in today's NFL,
Yeah,
just
for sure.
Because you get those elite pass rushers just line up over the right tackles because they can win easier. So you got to have good guys on both sides.
Definitely.
Here, we'll read another comment here just because I think it's silly. Because it says, "Who was last year's quarterback to be 6'1"? This year's like the quarterback to be large humans." I mean, yeah, they had one guy as a quarterback for most of the last 20 years.
Right.
I feel like they can't take much away from that.
They can't draft Carson Strong at 20. Come on.
They drafted one big guy, and then they just kept him for 20 years. I feel like there's not anything you can take away from that. It's an entirely different regime at this point.
I'm a Carson Strong guy, but you can't take him. I do like Carson Strong. I think he's got a big arm. He needs to work on it just like anybody in this draft. I don't think anybody is starting day one and producing. I'm a big Willis guy too. He's my number 1 quarterback. But I think he needs to sit and learn and play. And I don't know. I think Carson Strong has the arm talent. He can't move in the pocket. He's going to need to go somewhere where he can be protected.
Right, that's like the exact opposite of Big Ben, though. Yeah. Big Ben was famous for his escapability. And Carson
it was more so he was able to shake people. He wasn't.
He could get out of the pocket. He was a great pocket mover, I would say.
Yeah, but I think Carson Strong can get to that point.
I think that what some of these people get hung up on with comparing like pocket, like guys who can't move super well with guys who couldn't and have been elite for the past 10 to 15, 20 years is that they look at Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady, look at these saying these guys aren't athletic. They're statues in the pocket just like Carson Strong. And it's like, no, those guys are some of the best pocket movers in the league. They're just not like running out of the pocket and sprinting down the field. You watch how they maneuver those offensive tackles with their feet, how they keep those defensive ends from being able to get free shots at them. They're elite pocket controllers is how I'd call them. You know, Big Ben was one of those too. They could really control the pocket really well. You don't see that with guys like Russell Wilson, a lot of the newer guys who really escape from the pocket do some really stupid stuff sometimes where they invite the pressure a lot more than some of those older guys. But I feel like we haven't seen a guy come out of college in the past 10 years, really, who has been an elite pocket controller. Everyone, because it's just kind of not the way the NFL is going. I
think Mac Jones was that.
I don't know. I think he's just okay at it. I didn't love the way he controlled the pocket in the tape, but he's definitely better than anyone else who's come out recently in terms of that as a skill. Yeah, and he's better than anyone in this class, I would say.
But I do think the thing about Strong is I think he showed the ability. Like he wasn't consistent with it, but you did see some ability to move within the pocket, evade pass rush a little bit. But then you also saw someone come right up into his face and blow him out. So it's just, and also he had the injury that he was coming off of. I don't know.
Right.
I just like
it is always tough to evaluate guys off injury.
But I'm not taking him over Willis at all.
No. Well, yeah, Stingley's been coming back from injury the past couple of years, every game, and so how do you fairly evaluate him? I say, I think he struggles with strength and power. Oh, he's coming off an injury, but Strong is an interesting guy. I wouldn't take him in the top 3 rounds. I wouldn't take him until after 100. But once we get into the 4th, 5th round, I'd take a shot on him. But I think he'll probably go before then, probably in the 2nd or 3rd. Kind of like a Mason Rudolph tier, who I also wouldn't have taken in the top 100. But, he might end up being better than Rudolph. I think I probably like him a little bit better than Rudolph, just because he has a little bit more natural talent, a little more stuff to him. But that injury is a big question mark. You never know what the backstory is with injuries and how far NFL teams are going to knock him for it. I mean, Trey Smith obviously had those huge injury concerns, ended up falling to the 6th round. See it every year, some guy falls like 3 or 4 rounds further than anyone thinks because the injuries are worse. Maurice Hurst was a big one too.
Yeah.
So
that was my guy.
so far. And he was a good player. He's been a pretty good player. He's an above average player at the Raiders, or right around average at worst. And, just he fell because of that heart issue. And there's one every year that we see that falls like that. And it's always terrible, always awful.
You start to question if teams just come up with this just so they can fall, so they can grab them.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely see that narrative. You see some guy every year who's pushing out like, oh, man, teams aren't as high on this guy as the media is, and that guy still ends up going top 5, top 10. It's like, all right, well, clearly someone was pushing that narrative.
Like, as a Cowboys fan, Lael Collins, he got investigated a day for a
that
murder.
Was a pretty insane situation.
And then I think the next day he got cleared up, but then the NFL said, don't draft this guy. He's a longtime Cowboys fan. And then he ended up with the Cowboys. Jerry Jones didn't do anything, I promise you that.
I think Lael Collins said, if you're not going to draft me in the first round, don't draft me. Or something.
Yeah.
He put out a statement that said that because he didn't want someone to draft. And I was like,
well, the NFL also put out a statement to all teams, don't touch this guy.
I don't remember that. I don't remember him saying that. Because I remember thinking, why not just spend a 7th round pick on him? What's he going to do, refuse to play?
I don't know if it was reported that it happened, but it definitely happened.
All right, interesting. I don't remember hearing about that. Maybe it was reported and I just completely blanked it.
I forget who told me that, but someone I fully trust told me that
I get it. They probably didn't want to meet the scrutiny or anything like that.
And it happens every year for that.
I mean, Laramie Tunsil had a video come out, draft night, and then still ended up going, when they go, like, the 12th pick or something? That was insane.
Yeah, the draft time is fun. I mean, there's so much to go off of, and there's so much drama, and it's one of the best times of the year.
Very exciting.
Yeah. And we still have a lot of time to go, but I had a lot of fun talking with you guys. I think it's about time we wrap it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Josh, it was a lot of fun chatting with you.
For sure. Hopefully we can do this soon. Maybe a little bit closer to the draft.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Maybe we can bring you in for like a real-time mock sometime. That'd be fun to do.
Definitely.
Do like a 7-rounder, everyone gets a team or something like that. It'd be a lot of fun. We'll see what we can do.
Or maybe we can work out with my Diamond State Scouting and you guys. We do a big contest or something and get something worked out behind the scenes.
There's a lot of fun ideas we can do, but I think we need to wrap this up.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. You really gave us some great insights about the offensive line. So this is Walk Mock Sign Off. We'll be back next Monday around the same time. We really thank you guys for watching, and have a nice night.
See you later.